So Middle America just got pounded with a bunch of rain. Apparently this was all 6 inches. 6 inches of rain over a span of just 1 or 2 nights. 6 inches? You got 39,000 homes that have no electricity. This is Benton, Kentucky. And they shared drone footage, and this is a still from that drone footage. This is from Marshall County. So a lot of eastern Kentucky had to deal with flash floods and then just flooding in general. I mean, a lot of these cars are in the water, up to their tires, and then the buildings are, surrounded by water too. So it's probably maybe a foot up in, the lower parts of the town in Benton, Kentucky. Now that's going to be a problem because you got a cold snap that's coming through. So that means you got freezing temperatures for the next 3 days. All this water, all this still water is going to turn into ice. It's going to turn into ice, and ice expands. So not only is it going to be really tough to travel through, so it's going to be tough to go here, to go there, anything that's got a sheet of, 1 foot worth of ice, but that ice expands. So I would expect some car damage and building damage as well. Now there's been 11 people who have been killed. 11 people who have been killed. And they're not releasing any names, which that's absolutely disgusting. That's despicable. Even in tragedy, even in your death, that's the end of your chapter forever and ever. You don't even get a name then. One mother and a 7-year-old was killed in Hart County. 1 man was killed in Hart County. 3 men were killed in Pike County. 1 woman in Washington County. 1 man in Clay County. 1 person in Nelson County. 1 man in Floyd. And 1 man in Hardin County. So here's one, Thomas Oakes, 62-year-old man from Elizabethtown. So thank you for Hardin County, at least the coroner's office is letting us know what had happened. 62-year-old Thomas Oakes from Elizabethtown has died because of the flooding and the cold and the temperatures. According to not Steve Brashear, but his son Andy Brashear, according to Andy Brashear, most of these people that have died because they were in a car and they came across the body of water and they thought they could drive through it. They're in a car, they came across the body of water, thought they could drive through it, and then when they tried to do it, they didn't make it. I remember I got stuck in snow one time in Breckinridge County, and I was asking a guy who had a chain in the truck to pull me out, and the wife was like, "You didn't make it, did ya? You tried, but you didn't make it." Because I was like, well, I just hit it in reverse, and I was trying to, do this way and do that way. "Well, you didn't make it, did ya?" So you got a lot of stupidity here. You got a lot of stupidity, a lot of ignorance, a lot of racism. Andy Brashear is actually doing a very good job with coordinating all this. He's a quarterback, and so the state of Kentucky voted big time for the president, and we're being led by a Democrat, so it's kind of a good balance because you get the heart and soul of a Democrat, and then he asked for FEMA funds, and even though all those funds are being frozen all across the board, the president is going to send some FEMA funds. You got about 175 National Guard soldiers and airmen that are actively going throughout the 16 counties that are having the worst, the eastern Kentucky counties. So Brashear said more than 14,000 Kentuckians didn't have electricity, but I've read other places 39,000 homes in Kentucky have no electricity. And it's not just Kentucky that got hit. You also got Tennessee and West Virginia. But my guess is they don't have a Democrat being a governor, so they don't have a nice perfect balance of using their mind and using their heart and being for change and being for the status quo and being for the individual and also being for the community. So the cold snap is coming to Kentucky, Tennessee, and West Virginia. So that's going to be 10 degrees, 11 degrees, 12 degrees. That's for the next 3 days, for the next 3 nights. So that's going to be the cold. So that means overnight it's going to be freezing. It's going to be freezing. That's going to turn everything into ice. And how deep is that ice going to be? Can you break the ice? I don't know. I think after the 3rd day it's going to be deep ice. It's going to be frozen deeply. So when you have cold temperatures like that, when it's in the 10s, 11s, 12s, that's freezing to death temperature. That's freezing to death temperature. So you need to get your pets inside. If you're in Tennessee, West Virginia, or Kentucky, you're going to need to get your pets inside your homes. You're also going to need to get your animals, your farm animals, inside barns. In North Dakota, there's going to be a wind chill that's negative 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Negative 60 degrees Fahrenheit is the wind chill, which means that you're going to get frostbite on any skin that's exposed. Negative 60 degrees Fahrenheit. There was actually a woman in Kentucky, Judy Gould, who was robbed and her house was ransacked and her dog runs out. And you know what the cops did? They shot and killed her dog. Or they took the dog and had it put down or something. So there's a lot of stupidity. There's a lot of corruption in Kentucky. So you should definitely be praying for Tennessee, West Virginia, Kentucky, any of these states that are not being managed well. Because a lot of times they'll see the problem and then they'll arrest something else, the victim. They'll do something bad to the victim instead of actually solving the problem. They'll look at the problem, they'll see the problem, they'll assess the problem incorrectly. You have a lot of donations from Covington and Dayton, which is kind of crazy to me. It's good that people are helping. But Dayton, Kentucky is one of the poorest cities out there, and then with a higher rain means a higher river. I mean, you might have problems in Dayton, Kentucky, so it's almost like the poor folks are helping the poor folks. I mean, we got the FEMA funds, we got emergency funds, but you got some churches in Covington, Newport, Dayton, Bellevue. They're, asking for money, non-perishable food items, water, fans, baby items, formula, diapers, cleaning supplies, mops, brooms, buckets, and they're saying to donate it to First Baptist of Dayton, Cornerstone Christian Church of Dayton, or Visalia Baptist Church in Covington. So that's cool. You got, some Baptist churches out there that's doing something. Good old Protestants. They're not just doing a social club. They're actually putting their Christianity into action. Faith without works is a dead philosophy. The city of Beattyville in Lee County, Kentucky, there's evacuation orders. The water levels continue to rise, and the county Judge Executive Steve Mays is saying they hope that the water will stop rising shortly. We have 2 swift water rescue teams en route at this time, and all known citizens have been evacuated. All known citizens, so all the people that's in their little, good old boy club. Well, I know Tom and Dick and Harry and Sally and Mary and Sarah, and all known citizens have been evacuated. I don't even know what that means. Because in hillbilly culture, you got people that's living out in the mountains. You got a bunch of kids without social security numbers. All known citizens, all the citizens that you know of. Do you actually have a list and you're checking it twice? Because I would be very skeptical that all known citizens have been evacuated. Some people might stay in their house and try to save their house. You might think that you could, just take a bucket and try to... There might be something you could do. One good thing about California, they're sending 3 teams from California FEMA, US&R Task Forces TF 4, 7, and 8, located respectively in Oakland, Sacramento, and San Diego. So they're sending some teams. They're sending us some FEMA teams, and they're saying that even though they're recovering from the LA fires, they're going to help Kentucky as much as possible. They're going to help the people of Kentucky. Their thoughts are with the people of Kentucky, and that's really nice. That's really compassionate. It's like when Mexico and Canada helped California out when they had the LA fires. And he's saying that even though they're sending 3 teams out, that the California's emergency response capabilities are going to remain unaffected by the deployment. So that's cool. California is helping Kentucky out. FEMA funds are coming. You got a 175 National Guard that's walking around. Here's a map of the cold snap that's coming. So not only do you have at least 3 cold days. This entire week is going to be cold up until Sunday. So what is it, Monday night? So you're going to at least have 6 days of cold. But I just know that for the next 3 days, that's freezing temperatures, freezing to death temperatures. And hell, that could be for the next 6 days. And even afterwards, it's like 20 degrees, but then you're starting to get daytime temperatures of above freezing. So you have like 6 days worth of cold. You got like 6 days worth of freezing cold on top of all the flooding. So there's a coming cold snap on top of the freezing temperatures. They're saying that there could be 1 to 12 inches of snow. 1 to 12 inches of snow on top of it. So freezing temperatures, all those floodwaters are going to freeze. So you're going to have a whole bunch of ice, very thick ice. Pools of water is going to be thick ice, and then we're going to have 1 to 12 inches of snow that's going to land on top of everything else. There's cold weather alerts across 13 states from Texas to Minnesota. And then here's the morning lows. So North Dakota is negative 21, but the wind chill factor makes it negative 60. 1 degrees in Indianapolis, negative 1 in St. Louis, 10 degrees in Nashville, 14 degrees in West Virginia. It's a cold snap. And then, of course, there is no global warming, and it's not messing with the temperatures. There's nothing man can do with the environment. Man can't change the environment. We just have to go along with Mother Nature. We can't put on an umbrella. We can't put on a rain jacket. And we can't build architecture that can withstand any of the natural elements. When it rains or hurricanes or there's a tornado, you just have to lose your damn home. You know, you just have to lose your home. We can't do flood irrigation. We can't divert rivers to where they do irrigation out in the West. The man does not affect his environment. We can pollute, and we can till, and we can dig up the soil, and we can raise crops, and we can raise livestock. We got all this machinery, bulldozers, and whatnot. But we can't affect the environment. We cannot change the environment. The global warming is a hoax. So let's just hope that we don't reduce, reuse, or recycle. Of course, I'm being sarcastic. At the very least, we should reduce, reuse, and recycle. At the very least, we should just give a damn about our environment. If you can dump a bunch of oil, you know, just in the soil, what if you could dump that oil in a bucket and use it to lubricate some of your other motor parts? Reduce, reuse, recycle. And then there's reclamation too. You can actually turn trash into electricity. But it seems like just take some damn pride in yourselves. Take some damn pride in yourselves. You know, it sucks that we had 6 inches of rain. And 6 inches of rain did all that damage. We haven't dug enough culverts. We haven't dug enough ditches. Have we not been here before? Have we not had 6 inches of rain before? So what Kentuckians and Tennesseans and West Virginians and really all the states that are in, 13 states from Texas to Minnesota, all the Louisiana Purchase states, so you should think to St. Louverture and Dessalines, Jean-Jacques Dessalines of Haiti for conquering the French so that they would sell the Louisiana Purchase to the United States to Jefferson. And then when Jefferson bought the Louisiana Purchase, he was so constitutional, he was like, wait a second. The Constitution the enumerated powers of the Constitution actually doesn't give me the power to do a Louisiana Purchase. Even though it's a sweetheart deal, you're buying millions of acres and pennies on the dollar. He couldn't see where the powers of the presidency where it was enumerated in the Constitution that allowed him to do this. So there was a time when we actually gave a damn about the Constitution. In order to be good and for peace, love, and justice to reign, you need a constant reminder that peace, justice, and love are the ways forward. Because if you just want to be a bunch of barbaric savages, well, that goes without saying. If you just want to be a bunch of irrational, barbaric savages, but we do have a brain, we do have rationality, we can use logic, and we can figure out a way out of this mess, and we could learn lessons, we could build ditches and make sure our culverts are working, so when 6 inches of rain, followed by a bunch of freezing temperature, followed by a bunch of snow is coming up, then we know what to do. So thank God for Andy Brashear, because even though I got some nitpicking, he does a pretty good job when it comes to leading Kentucky in these natural disasters. He's out front, he's speaking to the public, he's telling people what they know. He should be more forthcoming about the names of all the dead, because I'm sure people would want to know about who had died. And then if you don't even get a name in tragedy, I mean, not only can all this national disaster, hurt people's livelihoods or homes or businesses, but it's also a perfect opportunity for looting and crimes to happen. So Beattyville, right? Everybody's been evacuated out of Beattyville. Yeah, except for Trinidad Aragua, except for the MS-13, except for the gang members, except for the corrupt cops. They're going around robbing everybody. So we need to start learning our lessons. We need to start learning lessons, and we need to do better next time. Start learning lessons and do better next time. Make smart decisions. Evolve. Do better next time. And try to stay safe. And if you can stay inside your home, stay inside your home. And if you can't, get out. Get out and go someplace to where, don't die. Try your best to survive. And then we'll work on better tomorrow so we can work on thriving. Instead of just surviving, maybe we can start to thrive. Jesus said to love our neighbors. So we do need love and compassion as well as fiscal conservatism as well.